But you are always welcome. So we have the Grand Quran study today. You had good timing and come, but we're here every day. You can just leave this on VC1 and we have a radio, like a radio station. Everybody
Mashallah.
talking,
Okay.
discussing, waiting,
All right.
preaching. Yeah, we have constant activity. 24
All right.
hours you can listen. Yeah.
Mashallah. Yes. So there
So
is this zikr
yeah.
also that happens.
There's a what?
Zikr happens.
Yeah, sometimes we have zikr. We have a meditation
Okay.
channel actually. If you like to do that,
Okay.
you're more than welcome to host
Oh, I love to do that.
zikr. Yeah, you can host the meditation in the meditation channel, and I'm sure others would also love to join and listen. That's
Okay.
fantastic. Do you see the different
Okay.
channels? So we have
Yes, yes,
VC1.
I do.
Uh,
Yes, I do. I did see, but I did see many channels. I did see the Zikr one, but I think no one was there in that channel. It
yeah,
wasn't
we just
active.
need to, yeah, we need everyone to help to make more channels active more of the time. So
Okay.
that's how it
Okay.
is. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, oh, I'm already late. I'm sorry. I've never been this late before. Hold on. I need to start the event. Okay. So we had 57 people sign up. Praise God, I just put this. Peace be upon you all. We're just getting started, so we'll start in 3 minutes, God willing. But we need a volunteer to read some of the verses. Let's see this. Peace be upon you, everyone. Please join us for the grand study starting now. Okay. And I'm gonna tag everybody, God willing. We have almost 4,500 people. Yes. I'm about to read the Quran right now, buddy. God willing, right now I have to read the Quran. Praise God. Yes. Okay, we have to read it together. Okay, I just tagged everybody for the Grand Quran study. Talon, can you put it in some channels for me, please? And everyone else, please, if you can just share it in your DMs.
Sure, I will.
Thank you, thank you. Don't put it in all the channels, but general, ask questions. Usually I put it in general, welcome channel, ask questions. Maybe in the submitter area. Those are the ones I do. So those are the channels that I put it in. And then I want to also DM it to some people. Let's see. Sister, do you want to read for us today? Sister Suja? Would you like to read for us? Okay. I'm just sending the invite to more people. Okay. Mm. Okay, we'll start in 2 minutes, God willing. Does somebody want to volunteer to read then?
Who's gonna read?
Sorry, I'm doing like 10 things at once. I'm literally like inviting
Okay.
people and everything. But yeah, if you can get someone to just volunteer to
Hey,
read, that'd
Sophia.
be great.
Assalamualaikum.
Peace be upon you,
Any interest?
Sophia.
Any interest in reading? I'm tied up.
Assalamualaikum, everybody.
Assalamualaikum.
Peace be upon you, sister. Welcome. Nice to see you here.
It's nice to be here. Finally got some quiet time, so want to.
God
Navin,
bless.
hello.
Yes, can you hear me, sister? Yes, can you hear me? I think she has connection problems, unfortunately. Uh,
I would like to read if nobody wants to.
Okay. Yeah, please. It's gonna be okay. Let me just load the verses. We're just gonna start now, God willing. It's gonna be chapter 11, verse 31 through 43. Let me load that. 11, 31 to 43. Oh wow, a lot of people joining. Praise God. That's great news. That's fantastic. All right. Yeah, I loaded all the verses in the chat, brother. Peace be upon you, everyone. Welcome. God bless you. Thanks for joining the Red Crown Study. We're reading from chapter 11, verse 31 through 43. They're loaded in VC1 dash chat.
Thank you. Okay. Euzu billahi mineşşeytanirracim. We seek refuge in God from the Satan we rejected. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. All power belongs to God. I do not claim that I possess the treasures of God, nor do I know the future, nor do I claim to be an angel. Nor do I say to those despised by your eyes that God will not bestow any blessings upon them. God knows best what is in their innermost thoughts. If I did this, I would be a transgressor. They said, O Noah, you have argued with us and kept on arguing. We challenge you to bring the doom you threaten us with, if you are truthful. He said, God is the one who brings it to you, if he so wills. Then you cannot escape. Even if I advised you, my advice cannot benefit you if it is God's will to send you astray. He is your Lord, and to him you will be returned. If they say, he made up this story, then say, if I made it up, then I am responsible for my crime, and I am innocent of any crime you commit. Noah was inspired. No more of your people are going to believe, beyond those who already believe. Do not be saddened by their actions. Build the ark under our watchful eyes, and with our inspiration, do not implore me on behalf of those who have transgressed. They are destined to drown. He who loves lust loves the best, loves best. While he was building the ark, whenever some of his people passed by him, they laughed at him. He said, You may be laughing at us, but we are laughing at you just as you are laughing. You will surely find out who will suffer a shameful retribution and incur an everlasting punishment. We don't have the rest of the verses.
Oh, click next here.
Oh,
Can you see it on your end? 1140.
yeah. When our judgment came and the atmosphere boiled over, we said, Carry on it a pair of each kind, together with your family, except those who are condemned. Carry with you those who have believed, and only a few have believed with him. This is God's proven truth. Noah's ark was made of logs, tied together with primitive ropes. Contrary to common belief, the flood was limited to the area around today's Dead Sea, and the animals were only Noah's livestock, not every animal that lived on earth. That was the footnote. 41. He said, Come on board. In the name of God shall be its sailing and its mooring. My Lord is forgiver, most merciful. As it sailed with them in waves like hills, Noah called his son, who was isolated, O my son, come ride with us. Do not be with the disbelievers. He said, I will take refuge on top of a hill to protect me from the water. He said, Nothing can protect you, anyone, today from God's judgment. Only those worthy of his mercy will be saved. The waves separated them, and he was among those who drowned.
Praise God. Any comments or questions from reading? Lehip, you can go first if you want to contribute anything.
Yeah, I have a little comment. The Noah story, I heard it on an audio from Rashad. They were humans. They had two eyes. We have two eyes. So this story is like for us, like president. They were humans. This is how it happened. Messenger comes to them, humans' reactions, and same thing happens now. And same thing happened when the Rashad came, and now, and probably will continue because there are some things that repeat with the human. I have another comment. There's a prophecy, the smoke prophecy, and with Gabriel, it was revealed that it will be like the time of the Noah, the smoke, a meteor, an asteroid will hit Earth, and this retribution will hit those who do not stand with God's messenger of the covenant. Those who stand with God's messenger of the covenant will be saved from the retribution, the atmospheric retribution or health problems. Some people will be dead, so they will be saved. But we also learn that the retribution now, it is picky. Maybe I can use a different word, but I can remember only this picky, like AIDS. So all city, for example, if the whole city is not corrupt, God sends a selective virus to pick out those who deserve the retribution. So we are now in an era of distinction between God's kingdom and Satan's kingdom. If this prophecy comes to pass, it will be a showcase of difference between God's kingdom and Satan's kingdom, because those who stand with God's messenger of the covenant and those who are in the God's kingdom, they will be protected by God's invisible forces, and the retribution will not hit them. God runs the universe. But those who do not stand with God's messenger of the covenant, they will be hit with the retribution. The asteroid will hit the earth. It will envelop the whole earth. It will be a profound retribution. Also, there is a misunderstanding. There was a false messenger. Some people thought that they would need a person to tell them, okay, guys, come here. If you come here, the retribution will not hit you, the asteroid for the smoke. So they think they need a messenger before the smoke comes. But they don't understand the system. We don't need someone to okay, guys, come here like the Lot or Noah. It's a different age now. That was my comment. We
God
can
bless you.
continue. Thank you.
Thank you so much for everyone that joined. We just read from chapter 11, verse 31 through 43. And I put the reference of Noah and the messenger of the covenant in the chat, an article that's related. I think sister just going to Suja, you wanted to make a comment, please go ahead. Are you trying to speak, sister? Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, she got disconnected. She's not
I
able to
see her
connect now.
back. Are you her husband? Can she speak to
Yeah.
your account?
Yeah,
All right,
I am.
thanks. Go ahead. Please make your comment.
Navid, I actually got disconnected and I'm actually, you guys carry on because I just got connected back. So I was not going through the verses you read actually. It was chapter 11.
Yeah, chapter 11, verses 39.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Chapter 11, verses 40. I'm so sorry. I got confused. 31 through 43.
Okay.
Chapter 11, 31 through 43. Those are the verses that we just read.
Okay.
If you have any comments or questions, please go ahead and
No,
unmute them.
as of now, I do not have Navid. So you can probably just continue because I'm sorry, I did not actually was listening to the, reading. I got disconnected. So I've just connected through my husband's number now.
No problem. God
Yeah.
bless you. Anyone have any questions or comments about the verses that were read?
I wanted to make a comment on verse 31, where it says, "All power belongs to God." That this is the we have this like repeatedly in the Quran. So, for instance, I do not claim that I possess the treasures of God, nor do I know the future, nor do I claim to be an angel, nor do I say to those despised by your eyes that God will not bestow any blessings upon them. This expression of like not knowing the future, funny is if you read the Hadith, they make it as if the prophet knew everything of the unseen. There's even a hadith saying that the before he died, he narrated every single major event and every single major name of every person. But this was all lost, right? And they give him qualities, that the Quran directly refutes. You see this again in Surah 7, verse 188. It says, "Say," so this is the prophet commanded to say, "I have no power to benefit myself or harm myself. Only what God wills happens to me. If I knew the future, I would have increased my wealth, and no harm would have afflicted me. I'm no more than a warner and a bearer of good news for those who believe." It's just funny how the Quran refutes these narratives in the Hadith, that they make the prophet seem like he's all knowing and had an intimate knowledge of everything that was going to happen in the future. Anyone else
Mashallah.
have?
Yeah, peace be upon you, brothers and sisters. Mashallah, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing. Thank God for the wisdom that's in the Quran that He's blessed us with. And along the same lines, I was going to comment on 1134, one of the verses that stand out to me as I review this passage that we read. Even if I advised you, my advice cannot benefit you if it's God's will to send you astray. He is your Lord, and to Him you'll be returned. Reinforcing this idea that only God guides, and the messenger brings the message in the same way we can share, spread the message. At the same time, it's God who guides. And it's also a blessing that we're not responsible for guiding anyone. And we see how Noah sets this example of saying, knowing that, we see how he knows that and knows that of course, God is the only Lord and Master. And I'll pause there. Thanks.
You know what's fascinating is that every time the messenger comes, they deliver two things. One is good news, the other one is a warning, and the outcome of which one a person gets is dependent on their response. But one thing that you see is that consistently the disbelievers, the rejectors, they challenge, they beg for the disaster. But it's interesting that they don't beg for the good news, right? Like you would think you can equally ask for whichever one you want, and whichever one you ask for, you'll receive. That they instead of asking for the rewards of the good news, they ask for the disaster. It just shows like the lack of intelligence on their part. Anyone else have comments or questions? From the reading we read from 1131 through 1143.
Yeah, mashallah, it's a good point. And yeah, it's very interesting. Like why would somebody take that approach? It's so unwise, so unskillful. thank God for the guidance. And I think it's because it's like the ego driving uh, that person. You know, there's just the ego, that impurity is so prominent. That's what's driving them. Just like Satan, it was his ego driving that, you know, rather than when he committed, you know, when he was arrogant and God called him out on it, rather than seeking forgiveness and repenting and reforming, he asked for a respite and said, "Oh, I'm going to go after the humans." Um, so unskillful, so unwise, not helpful to anybody. But it was the ego was driving, and may God. That's why it's so important to kill the ego. May God help us to do that and protect us from falling in the same traps. Thanks.
Hi, this is Suja. This is a verse that probably I was talking to Navid about it. That how much of, I mean, we are by the grace of God submitters. But if you see Noah's son, he wasn't a submitter, and how even though he was a prophet's son, he was not in the path of submission. So probably we should just pray and that our kids along with our life partners follow a submission. I mean, they are nothing is in our hand. We are never in control. This is one significant chapter that keeps, and I'm reading these verses today, and these verses were running in my mind a couple of days before when I was praying that my kids should, that God should guide my kids in the path of submission. So, and how I came across these verses now, that nothing is ever in our control. We can just pray that God guides each one of us, our kids, and how much ever we try, to bring them in the path of submission. End of the day, it is God's will and wish, and God knows it better. And we can just pray that our kids and our family, they are in the path of submission. I think that this is one take that I have from these verses. That even Noah couldn't, help but see his son's doom. Yeah, that's it.
God bless you, sister. Thank you so much for that fantastic comment. I've been telling the other brothers and sisters that God keeps sending us some amazing strivers. You're one of them. God bless you for your striving, your courage, and your pursuit of the truth and pleasing God. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. It means a lot to me and others that you came, you're such a good submitter, and you have the courage to speak in front of 50, 60, 70 people here. It shows, it's a demonstration of your strength. God bless you for that.
I believe it is just God, bringing us together. I mean, especially the last couple of days, I was praying, and was hoping that I, get to talk to you. Will not believe this now. With even today, after my, night prayers, I was praying that I get in touch with submitters. I was praying to him that please God bring me close to some submitters, because you will not believe I'm not in touch with any submitters. I haven't, I've been trying to reach out for submitters here in the place that I stay in Pune, but I was not getting in touch with any submitters. And by the grace of God, say after my prayers, I happened to just connect with all of you, all the wonderful submitters. Mashallah.
God bless you. When it rains, it pours. Now you got the largest submitter group connection in the world. Congratulations. God bless you. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions or comments about the verses that were read?
I just wanted to say salam and welcome, sister. It's good to have you, mashallah, and what a beautiful example of how when somebody is sincere and really seeking God and how God answers the prayers and provides. Thank you for sharing that. And regarding guidance, I totally understand. Of course, we want our families to be guided as well, and something I've thought about a lot. And it's mashallah, what you shared resonated, that ultimately it's God that needs to guide, and the person has to want it. It's God guides those who want to be guided, and so it is between them and God. At the same time, it's good to pray, like you said, and may God help us to set a good example. That can be really important, and to invite and share in the best possible manner when as appropriate. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Anyone else have any questions about the verses that were read?
You just heads up, if someone is if you're not talking, if you don't mind muting, and then if you want to make a comment, let us know. Yeah, I wanted to make another comment regarding verse 34 and 35. It says, "Even if I advise you, my advice cannot benefit you if it is God's will to send you astray." This is indicative of a bigger kind of a concept here, that only God can guide, not even the messenger can guide unless God wills it. Shows that all power belongs to God. And then in 35, it says something really interesting. It says, if they say he made up the story, then say, if I made it up, then I am responsible for my crime, and I'm innocent of any crime you commit. This shows that the messenger, they bear that responsibility. What they're supposed to do is deliver the message. If they err or something like that, that's on them. And this gives us further assurances that it's our duty to accept, whatever the messenger directly says. That it's an unhesitating submission. Any other comments or questions? For those who joined, we read from 11:31 through 43. Maxi, did you want to make a comment? You're unmuted. Not, yeah. If it's okay, if you can mute so we don't get the background noise.
Sorry, where did we read from?
We read from 11:31 through 43.
Thank you. Please.
Anyone else has any comments or questions? If not, I'll just make another one. In 37, it tells us, it says, build the ark under our watchful eyes and with our inspiration, and do not implore me on behalf of those who have transgressed. They are destined to drown. This, I feel like it serves as a really powerful lesson for us, is that, when God's messengers come and they deliver the message, you can take the example of Noah, right? So Noah, he gets his inspiration from God to... Hey, can we stop unmuting Maxi? He's not talking and has got a lot of background noise on his end, unless he wants to make a comment. Oh, wait.
Hello?
Maxi, do you want to make a comment?
Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Hey, assalamu alaikum, brother.
I just want to ask, do we have a Facebook group?
There is a group, yeah, on Facebook, but it's not necessarily related with this server.
Okay.
Let's stick
Can
with
you give me the link?
Sure. Someone can, God willing, provide it, but let's stick with the reading. If we want to talk about other stuff, we can talk about it after the study. Appreciate it. So, yeah, I was making a comment regarding this aspect of Noah. So Noah gets this inspiration. He builds this ark, and God tells him, okay, this is how you're supposed to tie the ropes. This is how you're supposed to set up the planks. All these facets of it. Now imagine you had like a skill, craftsman at the time, and he's criticizing Noah's boat. He's like, no, why'd you cut the wood this way? No, why'd you tie the ropes that way? And you know, they might have criticisms regarding his boat and say, you know what, I'm going to build a different boat. Or someone says, okay, I'm going to take his boat, I'm going to replace these components in this better way. And from the outside perspective, someone might look at these boats and say, well, look, why would I get on Noah's? This other guy's boat, it looks so much nicer, right? And inevitably the flood's coming. But there's one fundamental difference between Noah's boat and all these other rafts, is that Noah's raft has the guarantee from God that if you get on that raft, you will survive, right? If you get on any of these other ones, most likely you won't, right? You know, the fact that you didn't get on the messenger's raft, I would say definitively you probably won't. But it goes to show that it's like, you know, when the messenger delivers, they deliver the perfect message. It's our duty to accept that, not to, you know, criticize and say, oh, you know, it should be this way or that way, but accept kind of whatever it is that God, you know, wished to deliver. Does anyone else want to comment regarding the verses?
Do you know what type of wood that Noah used?
I don't believe it's mentioned in the Quran.
How about who was saved?
Huh?
Who's among this Noah's family was saved?
Who among his people were saved? The believers.
Yeah, Noah and
Yeah, the believers were saved.
yeah, Noah and
Yeah, brother, can you just make your comment?
who was saved?
So is that the question?
Yeah, Noah and
Okay, brother. Yeah, let's just save this for afterwards because maybe someone else wants to address this. Thank you.
Yeah, I can maybe inshallah I can help. So 1140, it says, when our judgment came and the atmosphere boiled over, we said, carry on a pair of each kind, together with your family, except those who are condemned. Carry with you those who have believed, and only a few have believed with him. So, mashallah, as I think Brother Dude was also saying that it was basically those who believed, including his family members, who believed. We know that his son, unfortunately, you know, he decided not to join them and he drowned. Hope that helps. Thanks.
Can I ask you a question?
Go for it, brother.
Peace be upon you guys. There is this verse 36. I don't know if you read it or not. It says, no more of your people are going to believe beyond those who already believe. Do not be saddened by their actions. So this is the inspiration that Noah receives from God. So my question is this: is this correlate with another verse that Noah's praying that, or saying, you know, that those who disbelieve, you know, they're going to give birth only to disbelievers, and something to that nature. I forgot the verse number. If someone can remember it, can basically put it out. It's just making a prayer. Noah's praise to God. You know, do not give them anything but, you know.
Yeah, that's the end of chapter 71.
End of chapter 71. Can you
Was
read
that
it?
Noah? Was that Noah
Yes,
or
yes,
Moses?
Noah. The name of the chapter is Noah. It's at the end of chapter 71, and he makes this request to God.
Can you read the verses if you can? So my question at least becomes more clear. I'm
Yeah.
asking for the
I can read
35
it.
correlate.
Yeah, this is what he said. And from 21, he said, I see what you're Satan rejected. My Lord, they disobeyed me and followed those who were even more corrupted when blessed with money and children. They schemed terrible schemes. They said, do not abandon your gods. Do not abandon Wad, Suwa, Yahuth, Ya'uq, and Nasser. They misled many. Therefore, let the wicked plunge deeper into loss. Because of their sins, they were drowned and assigned to the hellfire. They found no helpers to protect them from God. Noah also said, my Lord, do not leave a single disbeliever on earth, for if you let them, they will only mislead your servants and give birth to nothing but wicked disbelievers. My Lord, forgive me and my parents and anyone who enters my home as a believer and all the believing men and women. But do not give the disbelievers anything but annihilation.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I think that was
I mean,
basically. Yeah, go ahead.
did you have a follow-up question for the that, or were you just looking for the verses?
No, I said this. Well, I raised my question. It says, is 35 in this that we read, it has any correlation with that? Because some people would argue that that general statement of a disbeliever giving birth to a disbeliever can be shown that is not true, because Abraham father was a disbeliever, and Abraham obviously was a friend of God. So that happened obviously after Noah. So we know that's not a general rule, but is that statement or prayer or a statement that is mentioned or on correlation with what has happened or what God has inspired Noah in verse 35, that now he realized, okay, whatever the people that are around him, they're just going to be, these are wicked people. They're not going to believe, and they're not going to give birth to anything other than disbelievers. So therefore, after that, the flood comes and everything. That was my question.
Peace be upon you guys. Assalamu alaikum.
Hey, Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, I can maybe make a very quick comment to this, to what Brother Amin K is saying. The what I understand from this, it's not meant to be a rule or anything, but I think this is more just a display, brother, of how upset Noah was, the abhorrence that he was having, because as we know in chapter 49, verse 7, God says that he places abhorrence in your heart towards disobedience, disbelief, and wickedness. So I think it's just more of a display to explain how upset he was, or like how much abhorrence he had, which is disgust and disdain or hatred towards the disbelievers. So yeah.
Hello?
Assalamu alaikum. Small interjection. What did you mean when you said hatred? I don't think you're correct in this case, because when right now when I'm reading the verse, I don't think Noah really hates them, because from the story it's about his patience towards their because from the Quranic verses. كان نذيرا مبينا. He was a clear warner. He did his work, and to especially like right now when you see arguments on the internet, debates and YouTube comments and all that, to fully articulate your point to someone else, it's not something that's easy. You need to suppress your own hatred, suppress your own, how do I say it, quick ad hominem attack, quick insults. You have to let them all go, be clear, be methodical, you have to already make the effort to understand what this subject is, so you can have a clear message. And from, I believe, chapter 70, when he said, what's the exact verse? Was the exact verse?
So 71. Just
71?
two things. Is it possible to your voice sounds a little distant? If you can talk closer to the microphone, maybe. And then the verses is Surah 71, verse 21 through 28. I think is the ones that we just read.
28. The one that has the word tabira, when Noah asked Allah to not leave a single one of them. I think that he did that not because he hates them, but because he acknowledges the ideological. It's like the I don't have a good word for it, but it's like their ideology that they follow. Except Allah is very attractive. It's not true, but it's attractive. So that's why I think he said what he said. I don't think he hates them, but it's more like he respects his enemies. He knows the true danger of their ideology, not because of hatred. I think it's very very important. It's one of the most important المغازي المعاني, the meanings of this story is that he did not fall into the trap of hatred, because if he did, he would not be a clear warner. And that's it. That's my point.
Yeah, mashallah, I agree. I think the messengers in general, when they're not doing this out of hatred, they actually do it out of love. We have the examples of Abraham, Lot, right? Were put into very bad situations, but they're genuinely they want the best for people. And it's true, if you have disbelieving parents, the likeliness of someone going astray just increases. It's not to say that God can't guide them, but it's I think, as you mentioned, kind of the system.
I agree with that. And a small disagreement. I don't think it's about love as well. I think it's Christians have this fantasy about okay, it's not fantasy, but this notion about love. Personally, I don't fully understand it, but it's like they have this idea that Jesus loves you, God loves you, and because He loves you, it's like how do I say? It's like an identity in a sense, identity. That's why they call him the Messiah, Al-Masih. It's like something I noticed about Christian. Is that the way they preach or the way they talk, it's very clear, very evident. It has zero nuance. But that's besides the point. The point, what I think this prophet specifically, and the other prophet as well, what they do is very simple. They follow the straight path. I don't think it's about emotion. What I think personally, it's like that flow state you have when you're, it's like when you work and you're doing something and everything is clicking, you're following this straight path. You have to do this, you have to know this, you have to do this. It's like that mythology, that straight path, especially when you follow it way ahead. That's when you can be truly a strong believer. You can say a strong believer.
Thank you so much, brother. God bless you. Thank you so much. Please, let's just keep our comments short because there's like 60 people here.
Of course.
God bless you. But thank you for being here. I really appreciate your input and being here. And God willing, after the study, we can spend more time talking to you. I haven't personally met you, so I would love to talk to you more.
Oh, thank you.
God bless you. God bless you. Does anyone else have any questions or comments about the verses that were read? If not, we can continue reading.
That's great. Inshallah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I want to make one other comment. Is I mean, there's still, because we didn't talk much of it regarding 38 through 43. Most of the conversation so far has been from 31 to 37. But this concept that, look, joining the path of the believers, it shows that it's going to be rocky, right? It's not going to be, for all intents and purposes, it's a rough ride to start, but God has a promise. Says, look, if you pick the difficult path, God will make it easy. There's a quote I really like. It says, hard choices, easy life, easy choices, hard life, right? Meaning that you kind of have to go through that grinder. And when you do, God is going to bring you out, polished, better. And these things that were challenging before, they just roll off your back. So I think that, a lot of times people think they're like, oh yeah, I'll just follow the messenger and it's just going to be a cakewalk. And they don't realize, like, no, they're going to be put through the test. Just really quick, I think it's 21 2:14. It's the verse. It says, do you expect to enter paradise without being tested like those before you? They were tested with hardship and adversity and were shaken up until the messenger and those who believed with him said, where is God's victory? God's victory is near. So it's kind of the purification process. Yeah, go ahead, brother. Brother Ibrahim, did you want to make? Oh,
No,
Okay,
I had a con.
no, I don't know if we have read those verses. I'm just looking at the issue of intercession, but I
Which
don't know.
verse
I
is
don't.
that, brother? We didn't get to that
Mm,
verse yet. I'm
we
so
didn't
sorry.
get to that, so
We
no
didn't
problem.
get there. We'll get there soon, God
Yeah,
willing. But I wanted to
inshallah.
make a comment about verse 42. So this verse, I believe, resolves an issue that we were dealing with earlier. Let's talk about this real quick. Let me read the verse real quick. As it sailed with them in waves like hills, Noah called his son, who was isolated. Oh, my son, come ride with us. Do not be like the disbelievers. So this was the discussion we had, Brother Sajad and McClinton and others. Some people were saying, oh, this wasn't actually his son. But this verse narrates that it was his son. It's not because they were saying, oh, well, he's saying it's his son, but God never said it's his son. But now here, God is telling us that that was his biological son, right? So it says Noah called his son. That's not Noah speaking, right? So Noah called his son, meaning that God is telling us that Noah did call his son. It's just that his son is just not we're gonna read
Not
in the next.
adopted, not
Yeah.
adopted son.
No,
Yeah,
it's not adopted or anything
yeah,
like that. This is actually his
exactly.
son, and he even
Mm,
says, "Oh, my son," and that's
mm,
it. And then we're gonna read after that, God willing, that the real family is the believers. It's not even about genetics. You know what I mean? It's not about your actual offspring. It's that the believers are members of the one family, and we need to act like it. So that's really what matters at the end of the day. And there's a verse for this in the Quran, chapter 49, verse 10. This is the
10
real
to
family.
10
That's the
to 12.
subtitle. Yes, chapter 10 says the real family, verse 10, the believers are members of one family. You shall keep the peace within your family, reverence God, that you may obtain mercy. This is absolutely right. And also, Rashad explains that even for zakat, when you're calculating zakat and then you want to go down the list of who to give it to, relatives, he includes the believers, he includes the submitters. So the submitters are the members of the same family. We need to acknowledge this and appreciate it and act accordingly. But in the case of Noah, that was his actual son. It's just because he was a disbeliever, God told him, look, he's not really, he's not truly a member of your family. Yeah, he may be your son by blood, but by, belief, he's not. And he's, sorry if my comment was too long.
No, I really appreciate you bringing up this. In fact, it is today that I learned that even Noah had other children. And it was on Facebook when Maximilian was, pointing out this to me because I shared these verses, and he was saying, "Did I know that this son of Noah was not his biological son?" I was shocked because this is the first time I'm hearing this. And he was asking again if I knew that Noah had other sons like that. I said, but the Quran never told us anything like that. And if the Quran, God would tell us his son, that means it's his son, Noah's son. And that is it. So thank you for bringing up this. And the clarification is okay. Inshallah. Is it in the Bible that we got to know, or that some people get to know that Noah had other sons, or this son was not his biological son? Or where do they get that story from?
I think they just extract it from when God says that he's not part of your family. Similar, they say that it's not Abraham's father. They also make that narration because they want to say that the prophets, the messengers, them and their families are perfect. And this is a lot has to do with like Shia ideology.
My understanding here is because God says it's not part of the family means because he disbelieved, so Noah was just his earthly father, but not a heavenly father because the son is not making it to heaven. If that is, we have seen, or even some of the wives disbelieved, some Lot's children believed, and they were saved. Noah's son did not believe and he was not saved. Which are some of the things maybe we have to look at. So Muhammad Zaid was called his adopted son. If this the son of Noah was not truly his son, God would have told us not his biological son.
If you guys want, we can, unless there's more comments, we can read the section regarding Noah's son from 44 through 49.
Yes, okay. Somebody can read.
Sounds great, inshallah.
Does anyone want to read those verses?
Okay, let me read, inshallah. ربي أعوذ بك من حمد الشياطين وأعوذ بك ربي أن يحضرون. In the name of God, most precious, most merciful. It was where did the ark land? It was proclaimed, O earth, swallow your water, and O sky, see, the water then subsided. The judgment was fulfilled. The ark finally rested on the hills of Judah. It was then proclaimed, the transgressors have perished. Noah implored his Lord, my Lord, my son is a member of my family, and your promise is the truth. You are the wisest of the wise. Should I continue? 49?
Yeah, if you can read to 49, that'd be great.
Okay, inshallah. He said, O Noah, it's not of the family. It is unrighteous to ask me for something you do not know and enlighten you.
All right. Looks like Brother Ibrahim maybe got a phone call or something. Okay. So 45 says, Noah implored his Lord, my son is a member of my family, and your promise is the truth. You are the wisest of the wise, the myth of intercession. He said, Oh Noah, he is not a member of your family. It is unrighteous to ask me for something you do not know. I enlighten you, lest you be like the ignorant. And 47 says, he said, my Lord, I seek refuge in you, lest I implore you again for something I do not know. Unless you forgive me and have mercy on me, I will be with the losers. It was proclaimed, O Noah, disembark with peace and blessings upon you and upon nations who will descend from your companions. As for the other nations descending from you, we will bless them for a while, then commit them to painful retribution. This is news from the past that we revealed to you. You had no knowledge about them, neither you nor your people before this. Therefore be patient. The ultimate victory belongs to the righteous. And Sister Farah, I'm not sure what these verses, these footnotes are from chapter 44. I'm not sure what the relevance is, so I just deleted that. I'm reading the footnote of 46 as how intercession. Yeah, it's in here. Intercession is Satan's most effective bait to entice people into idol worship. However, Abraham could not help his father, nor could Noah help his son, nor could Muhammad help his own relatives. And 3 verses are given there. And then the other, did we already read the other footnote of 40 and 44? It says, this is God's proven truth. Noah's Ark was made of logs tied together with primitive ropes. 54:13, contrary to common belief. The flood was limited to the area around today's Red Dead Sea, and the animals were only Noah's livestock, not every animal that lived on Earth. Okay. Yeah,
Sorry,
so
I
just continue.
apologize. I apologize.
Yeah.
My network went blank. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. We finished reading. Did you want to make a comment?
I think I want to believe you people have made a comment, but in Surah, that's I think verse 45, we see Noah saying Noah is his son is a member of his family, and God made him to understand that because he disbelieved and he was among those to be drowned, he is not a member of his family. So if you are a believer and your children join you in belief, these are your family. But anyone who disbelieves among your children are not members of your family. That is my understanding.
Yeah, just continuing from my previous comment. So, he says, my Lord, my son is a member of my family. So here he's saying, no, your son is not a member of your family. And then he's just such a good submitter. He says, basically says, I'm sorry. I implored him for something I do not know. So he's a very righteous believer. Does anyone have any questions or comments about the verses we read? We read from chapter 11, verse 31, now through 49.
This oh, Douglas, go ahead, brother.
Yes, thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Verse 46 and 47 further clarifies that Noah's prayer to God to annihilate all disbelievers and prevent them from having disbelievers was more a reflection of his own humanity, his own weakness than God's system. Because when we look closely at verse 47, we see that Noah says, my Lord, I seek refuge in you, lest I implore you again for something I do not know. Unless you forgive me and have mercy on me, I will be with the losers. So Noah recognizes that he does not know and only God knows. And that he recognizes that he was in error for praying to God not to allow any disbelievers to populate the earth anymore and have any offspring. So I think this further clarifies the nature of what Noah was asking and his realization that it was incorrect on his part. I have a question regarding verse 48. It has to do with when Noah, it was proclaimed on Noah, disembark with peace and blessings upon you and upon nations who will descend from your companions. As far as other nations descending from you, we will bless them for a while, then commit them to painful retribution. What I'd like to request clarification for in terms of my very limited understanding, this does not mean political entities. It does not mean nation states as we understand them today as political nations. It means communities of people. It means large aggregates of communities of human beings to whom God has sent messengers, and I request further clarification on that. This to me does not mean political nation states. Thank you.
That's my understanding as well, Brother Douglas, is how you explained it. Praise God.
Another thing that brings and we should pay attention to.
So, sister, we
we
cannot
cannot
hear
hear
you.
you.
Yeah, your sound is really bad, unfortunately.
If you can please speak up, hopefully we can hear you, inshallah.
I'm
You
not
can
sure
hear
if
me.
this. Yeah, we can
You
hear
can
you
hear
now.
me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Another thing that is very important in these verses is that God telling us, we today as submitters, probably we do not come from submitters family. We probably might have parents who are disbelievers and might not be submitters. So we here do not have any chance, even in our prayers, to ask for forgiveness on their behalf. And we can probably maximum just ask God to guide all of them in the right path. including our children and everyone. We do not, because even that right was not even given to the messengers and to the prophets. So this is something that has to be, we have to be very careful as submitters when we pray, that we do not ask for forgiveness but only for his guidance, so that he guides our kids and our family in the right path. We knowing in case our parents are non-believers, we cannot ask for forgiveness. That is the take that I get from these verses. Thank you.
Mashallah, yeah, praying for guidance is the best because everything comes with that. And at the same time, it's beautiful that 47:19, and it's verse 19 of Surah 47 that says, "You shall know that there is no other God beside God, and ask forgiveness of your sins and the sins of all believing men and women. God is fully aware of your decisions and your ultimate destiny." And so God tells us to actually do this, to ask forgiveness for our own sins and the sins of all believing men and women. And if we do this, then we cover all the bases. That if our family, if they are believers, even if they're not believers now, they may be potential believers, that all believers are covered if we do this. So it's a beautiful system that we can just do this, ask forgiveness for our sins and sins of all believing men and women, and then everyone is covered, including family members, relatives who may be believers. Thanks.
Sorry, may I ask a question, please? Still referring to Noah's son. What did Noah's son do for God to annihilate him, to drown him together with those who were drowned? I want to believe that was they committed idol worship, right? They disbelieved in God. Am I correct? I'm just thinking about Surah 31, verse 13. We saw Luqman advising his son or telling his son that setting up any idols beside God, that is a gross injustice. So Luqman to his son, Noah to his son. Maybe Noah's son didn't heed his father's advice, but Luqman's son heeded his father's advice and became a believer. And so that's what I want to add there, inshallah.
I think the bigger lesson is this fact that intercession is utterly useless. That God is the only one who determines who goes to heaven or hell. The fact that Noah couldn't intercede on behalf of his son, Abraham couldn't intercede on behalf of his father, Muhammad couldn't intercede on behalf of his uncle, Lot on behalf of his wife, Abraham on behalf of the people of Lot. It shows that there is no intercession. Everyone's going to be responsible for their own deeds, and no one other than God can alter that. But what's fascinating is if you read the Hadith, it straight up says that the prophets, right, his intercession or even the intercession of the believers can change the destiny of someone. That it can either pull them out of hell into heaven or raise them in rank. And the second they fall into that trap, is just such a blatant form of idol worship.
Yeah, mashallah. And I think Noah's son, like what's clear to me to answer the question is that he did not believe, and he didn't join them. Because he didn't believe, he didn't join them on the ark. I wanted to also comment on this piece about one thing that is a pattern to me. I think it's something to learn from is we know messengers, prophets, they're good examples for us. And one of the examples that they set is how conscious they are of God. And we see that they have this strong connection and relationship with God that in 1141, Noah said, he said, "Come on board. In the name of God shall be its sailing and its mooring. My Lord is forgiver, most merciful." So, in kind of the heat of this moment that they're uh, doing this, and he's gathering everyone to come on board, he's remembering God and saying in the name of, starting kind of this adventure in the name of God, and remembering that God is forgiver and merciful. So it's like remembering God, God's qualities. I wanted to share that. Thanks.
Praise God. Did anyone else have any comments or questions from the verses read? So we started today's study from 1131. We read about basically it's mostly about Noah, him giving the message, being rejected, the flood coming, his son not accepting, and the myth of a intercession. Any other comments people want to make or questions?
Salam alaikum.
Hey, salam alaikum.
I just would like to make one comment. Well, remember that Noah spent 950 years with his people. And this is a lesson for us to remain steadfast, remain firm, remain steadfast and patient, and understand that God's will is going to be done. What he has decreed as far as the success for the believers and our striving and the consequences to those who do not believe. Thank you.
Yeah, mashallah. And a follow-up for that, I think that's, to me, it's important to keep that in mind in terms of the context of the verses that were brought up at the end of Surah 71, where Noah's asking, "My Lord, do not leave a single disbeliever on earth." And I think it's, that thinking of, okay, they're gonna mislead and give birth to nothing but wicked disbelievers. And mashallah, we talked about how it's not necessarily the case, but people tend to follow their parents. And it was a very interesting point that was brought up about perhaps, this is a follow-up to him being inspired that nobody else is going to believe that that he's asking for annihilation for the disbelievers. That and I think that if people are truly like just committing evil, in a way, it's better for them, better for them and for everyone, for them to not continue being here if they're not going to. And only God knows that, of course, if they're not going to take heed and um, seek forgiveness and repent and reform. And the last thing I wanted to just mention is this is also in the context of like, not only were his people not accepting the message, but they were actually opposing him, oppressing him. So there's a passage that he says, I am oppressed, grant me victory. So let me see if I can find that. So it's in Surah 54. 54:9. The people of Noah disbelieved before them. They disbelieved our servant and said, "Crazy." He was persecuted. He implored his Lord, "I am oppressed. Grant me victory." We then opened the gates of the sky, pouring water. So I think it's important to kind of have these things in mind, that because we know that God loves those who are benevolent, and that's how we want to be for our own good. However, these messengers, they were ridiculed, they were persecuted, they were oppressed, some of them were killed. And so that's important to also keep in mind, in my understanding. Thanks.
At this point, if someone wants to, we are basically past the Quran study, so it's more of the open discussion. If people want to ask any questions or make comments regarding verses of the Quran, they're more than welcome to. Yeah, I wanted to.
Yeah, go ahead. I was just going to say, before we go on to the other discussions, I would like to point at something at the verse.
Yeah,
I can
please
do it
do,
later.
please do. No, please do.
Okay, thank you. Let's think about which verse was it? Is 46. It says, "O Noah," he said, "O Noah, he is not of your family. It is unrighteous to ask me for something you do not know. I enlighten you, lest you be like the ignorant." Can we see it as a general guidance, general principle for praying, imploring, like asking for things that we do not know? I say let's think about this. I remember from an audio, Rashad. Also, first I want to read a verse. It says, Surah 17, verse 11, verse 11. The human being often prays for something that may hurt him, thinking that he is praying for something good. The human being is impatient. Note the last sentence. The human being is impatient. The audio, this is hadith for you if you do not verify for you. If you do not verify. He's saying you may pray for something that is not good for you at this particular time, and it will come to pass at the time that is good for you. So it was similar to something like this. Let's listen to this after. What do you think?
Yeah, I think
It's about
in general,
asking things that we do not know. If it's, yeah.
I would never encourage someone not to implore God. Like, let's say, for instance, someone's new into submission, and they implore God for a Lambo, right, Lamborghini. I wouldn't tell them, hey, that's not good, because at least, hey, they're imploring God alone. But it's one of those things that is you increase in understanding, you realize that, hey, maybe that's not the best for you, right? That there's better prayers that you can be asking for, because you can get the Lambo and become unappreciative, right? It can cause you to become vain and distance yourself from righteousness. And that's the thing, is in the Quran it says the human being prays for something thinking it's good when it's bad for them, and something God knows while you do not know, right? And I think it just comes with kind of that maturity as you go into the message, that you realize that the one thing that you can't go wrong with is kind of the prayer that's in the Fatiha, to guide us in the right path, right? Because at the end of the day, you submit wholeheartedly to whatever that is that God wishes to give us, that is going to maximize our possibility of a redemption and increase us in righteousness. But I think this is something that each individual has to come to that understanding themselves. If we tell people, hey, you can't pray for X, Y, and Z, I think we would be kind of removing that initial step into people supplicating only to God.
MashaAllah. That's yeah, I agree that it's good to implore God, and I wanted to just add to that. So we have Surah 60, Surah 40, verse 60, that I wanted to share. It's subtitled "Supplication, a Form of Worship." It says, "Your Lord says, implore me, and I will respond to you. Surely those who are too arrogant to worship me will enter Jahannam forcibly." And the footnote is by Dr. Khalifa: supplication, imploring God for anything, even material luxuries, is a form of worship. Hence the commandment to implore God whenever we have any need. An atheist will never implore God for anything. And it's true, like we see that people who don't believe, they're not imploring God, they're trying to do it themselves. And they think that they're, able to do things. And so at the same time, mashallah, like the verse that was shared, it's also good to know that we may pray for things that may not be good for us. So if we don't get it, it may be that it's not good for us now. We need to be patient and submit and trust. Yeah, so I'll pause there. Thanks.
Can I add something to this? I don't know if this was mentioned. I had a call. I had to go for a minute. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, brother, we can hear you.
Okay, mashallah. So to that question, I don't know if it was mentioned. Surah 11, verse 37 was mentioned or not. It says, "Build the ark under our watchful eyes and with our inspiration." And it continues, says, "And do not implore me on behalf of those who have transgressed. They are destined to drown." So this verse happens when Noah was inspired to build the ark. So Noah was informed of this information, and this inspiration was given to him. Therefore, when he later on implored on behalf of his son, which he was one of the ones who transgressed and disbelieved, he was reprimanded and reminded that, do not, he is not of your family. Do not ask me of something you don't know, because he was informed of that information early on, and he did not take that information or inspiration into account when he implored for his son. And I think he was reprimanded for that reason as well. Maybe that's how I see it, at least. Peace.
Mashallah, yeah, that's a great point, and that's how we can kind of put all of this together. That this situation, this is kind of something specific that God had kind of made this clear to him, and then he was still asking, and so then it's like he's kind of going against what was made clear to him already, and so then God is saying this is not righteous, that to ask me for something that you don't know, you think this is a good thing, but it's not. Thanks.
And probably God allowed this to happen because He wants us to learn lessons from this. Because we may see our children as our own children, but everybody on earth is a servant of God, and God is the most compassionate. So if we are, sympathizing with our children who disbelieve because God, they are going to be annihilated, why do they disbelieve in God? Why do they even refuse to follow their parents? So the end of everything is what we have. The end of everything is what we have to look at. We have to believe. If the parents believe, fine. If they don't believe, the children believe, they are the ones to make it. They can't save their children. God has informed us in the Quran. He has given us every detail of this. So the choice is ours to make. If the children want to believe, alhamdulillah. But if we want to all them, we have to believe, encourage our children to believe, and they will be happy also.
Yeah, real quick. Sorry, guys. Just me interrupting. We have another 45 minutes for the Quran study, but I just wanted to interrupt everybody and just give a quick invitation to sign up for the next week's Quran study. I put it in VC1-chat. If you just take a moment and tap interested, I would really appreciate it. We had 57 signups for this Quran study, but 3 weeks ago we had 71. So although we had more than last week, we still haven't met our record. So 11 people are signed up now. Please just take a moment and tap interested in VC1-chat just to boost the server activity and advertisement and support for the Quran study. 13 people are signed up. I just want to quickly thank the people that signed up. Talan, Sister Mila, thank you so much, Brother Ibrahim, Miss Renee, thank you so much, Kareem, Sister Sophia, God bless you, and hi, Cham. Halo is also here. I believe that's formerly Miss Hoshi. And Omar, thank you guys all for signing up. 15 people are signed up, so I really appreciate that. Also, before we continue, do we ever have any community updates? Peter?
Sorry, Brother Naveed. My wife has complained that even if she tap on the interest, that notification doesn't get to her.
Yeah,
What
that she
is
needs to turn on notifications on her phone and don't disable Discord notifications. That's the only other thing I can say.
Okay.
Yeah, so make sure to sign up for that, and then make sure the Discord notifications are on, and then you should get the notification at the time. Thank God, 23 people have signed up. That's really good. That's more than a third of the total people that signed up over the course of a week have signed up now in 5 minutes for the study. It's really good news. And also we have several new submitters. I just wanted to announce a couple of them here. Brother SkyX class, he's a young new submitter. I think he's 13 or 14 years old. He's studying the religion for the past month, and he decided to fully embrace submission. Praise God. God bless you. A couple days ago.
That's my brother.
Go ahead, Triple A, if you wanted to comment on this, please.
I just want to give a shout out to Brother Class. Welcome to the family, brother. Let's see if we can make it to paradise together. God willing.
Yeah, sorry. There's also more submitters that converted in the last week. It's really good news. And I appreciate everyone's support for helping the believers on the journey and embracing submission. We also had another brother, Jack. I don't know if he's here right now. He also embraced submission. He's a former Shia. If you do meet him at some point, make sure to congratulate him. He's a really good submitter, and he came here. He was strong on the Shia religion. He was presented the truth, the mathematical miracle, the evidences, and the message of worshiping of God alone. And so this is a really big moment. We're really happy he embraced submission. Also, Sister Nuha is not here. She also, many of you saw her come here for the last month, discussing with us, debating, asking questions. She also has fully embraced submission by the grace of God. These are all within the last week, in addition to other people that have joined or existing submitters that joined the movement. Oh yeah, thank you. Also, Sister Emma, I think she's in and out. She's not here. She was an existing submitter, but she joined with us. Now she's joining and helping every day. Also, Sister, I'm so sorry, I forgot her name. There's a husband and wife from Pune, India. They also, I guess they're existing submitters that joined. Also, Brother Abdul Rahman. I mean, we have maybe 5 or 6 or 7 real strong submitters just joined in the last week. I'm so grateful to God. And I just want to say this one thing, that all of us are replaceable. I'm replaceable. You're replaceable. All of us are replaceable. So this is an opportunity. Okay, this is an opportunity to strive in the cause of God. I put one verse. Triple A, would you just quickly read this verse and just give a quick comment on it? Sorry,
No
I just
problem.
can't speak.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. O you who believe, if you revert from your religion, then God will substitute in your place people whom he loves and who love him. They will be kind with the believers, stern with the disbelievers, and will strive in the cause of God without fear of any blame. Such is God's blessing. He bestows it upon whomever he wills. God is bounteous, omniscient. Praise God. So strive for God, right? Always strive for him and do not fear blame as long as you do it for God. Be kind with the believers and be stern with the disbelievers. This is normal. Some people may be too kind and some people may be too harsh. You must find a balance. Right? If you revert from your religion, God has no need of you. He will just substitute people in your place. And they will love him, and he will love them. Praise God.
Yeah, I just want to say, I mean, well, the point I was trying to make is we're all replaceable, right? And so it's easy for God to do. Some people say, "Oh, well, you know, if I leave, you guys are not going to be able to do anything." That's not true. I'm nobody, right? I'm just a tool of God. If God decides to use me, and if He wants, He could send someone 10 times better than me. So this is a chance to strive. You know, this is our opportunity. If we don't lose it, someone else is going to take it. The believers are eager to strive. I mean, I'm so impressed with some of these new submitters. They're just so eager to strive. They say, "Look, how can I strive in the cause of God? Please, how can we help the cause? What can we do?" This is a big blessing, and praise God. Last year we brought two or three people to the submitters conference. It's going to be on August 2nd. This year we might bring 15 to 20 people. You know, the following year we might bring 50 people. After that, we might bring 100, 200 people. So this is a big deal, you know, striving. I invite everybody to help with the new people, the striving, the spreading the message, the debating. And also, I wanted to take this opportunity. We've had really good success with the teacher role for the new people that are not hostile, just coming in non-aggressively to ask questions. If anybody wants to sign up for the teacher role, please let us know. Let me or on any other modder admin know so we can assign that role. So you get a notification if someone just wants to come and learn, ask basic questions about submission. You get a notification to join the VC and talk to them, or even in the chats. So that's been really great. A couple submitters that have signed up for that have thanked me for using it and helping them connect with the new people. It's fantastic. And this is the grind, you know, we have to work hard. God says, whenever possible, you shall strive. So a lot of submitters, they think, you know, we just sit back and wait for God's victory to come. God's victory is guaranteed, but we need to take action and take it into our own hands in terms of rolling up our sleeves and eagerly striving in the cause of God. That's what I have to say about it. So please, if you are interested in signing up, just let us know so we add the role. You get notification for that.
Can I make a comment on this?
Yeah, please go
Imagine
ahead.
that Thank you. Imagine that I make speeches on submission. Just imagine on making speeches on US, for example. You said that we are replaceable. Yes. You know, God can bring somebody, a professor, a very eloquent billionaire, or very intellectually knowledgeable, eloquent, charismatic someone, and get them guided to submission, and you know, God can bring them instead of you. Or let's say you are a video editor. God can bring the best video editor in the world. Or you're a director. God can bring the amazing directors, amazing software engineers to submission. But God is giving this opportunity to us. And we should use this for our souls, our hereafter. The differences in the hereafter will be much greater. But the main reasons we should do this for should be for our wish to worship God, because that we appreciate God, God's greatness, because that we love God. This should be our reason.
I totally agree with you. 100% is that I've just been so shocked. When we started this with Peter, we kept asking ourselves, well, look, we've been submitters for 15, 20 years or whatever. How are we going to find new people that are, you know, going to catch up or know all this stuff or have experience or knowledge? It's going to be so difficult. And then God sent us such strong submitters, knowledgeable, wise, better in the position that we were in their shoes, and God shocked us. So believe me, we are replaceable. God can do anything, and He does. Right? So we need to take advantage of any opportunities available to us This is a fantastic opportunity. It's historic. Peter was making a really good comment yesterday. Someone was saying, well, look, we don't have enough resources in Arabic. This is not good, whatever. Peter said, no, this is an opportunity for you to earn that credit. You can produce resources in Arabic and pioneer this message for tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people. Same goes for Spanish or whatever other language we need help in that's not been produced yet. These are all opportunities to strive. We need to take advantage of all the abilities God has given us and not be appreciative. And if we have knowledge, I was talking to a sister last night, you came in and you touched people's hearts. You touch people's hearts with your wisdom, with your knowledge, with your experience. Why not do that if you are able? If you're not able, fine. But if you are able to come in and touch people's hearts and by God's leave, help change the trajectory of people's lives, we should do this. This is very significant. So that's all I had to say. Thank you very much. Anyone else have any comments or questions? Or Peter, was any other community updates?
Yeah, I'll share some. No podcast episode this week, but I think we got. I think one more week for last study. Last study was on. Today's the 25th, right? Yeah, it's only three articles. One is a theological verse of we talked about this last week. But yeah, one is regarding does God forgive the sedentary, and then the other one is regarding the moral event horizon. You know, at what point does someone's transgression get to be so much that there is no redemption for them? So I was just looking at some of the verses. So yeah, that's only updates from for this week. Anyone else have updates or anything they want to share? Stuff they're working on. We have some good TikTok videos that people put out that's getting good traction. I don't know if anyone wants to bring up anything they're working on.
Mashallah, praise God. I just wanted to also share that of course, we've got this Quran study, and we also have the Quran studies Saturdays. It's going to be posted in the event section. Sometimes it's in the afternoon, sometimes evening. Quran study followed by meditation, one way of meditating. And then Sunday evenings as well, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, for people who want to do more reading of Quran, studying, and nourishing the soul that way in kind of a smaller setting. And that's also posted in events. You're all invited and welcome. Thanks.
I know some people are working on a kind of a new podcast. I don't know if anyone wants to comment about that.
God bless you, brother. Thank you. We are working on a podcast for submission and submitters, and would be potential submitters. We call it redemption. We sort of reference, I think, is it chapter 25, verse 71, sort of as the motto. Let me just put it in the chat. Yeah, those who repent and lead a righteous life, God redeems them, a complete redemption. And we focus on teaching what submission is, the sort of how did history, how did people in history go astray? We focus on topics regarding submission in the Quran alone, and then also topics regarding hadith and how it helped, how it deviated the religion. And we hope that people will sort of catch on to the truth. We use the translation of the Quran, of course, so that way it's not very Arabic centered. God willing, this will bring more people to the news of submission, bring them the good word, right? We will appreciate your support in the future, and we'll, God willing, place links to the videos in the content sharing, and maybe also in the general chat. And thank you, brother. We hope to follow your example, brother Peter. You can't fight alone. We gotta join the fight, guys. Whether you guys join us in our podcast or make your own videos, strive towards God. We all need to race. There's a verse. Let me grab it. Each of you chooses the direction to follow. You shall race towards righteousness. Wherever you may be, God will summon you all. God is omnipotent. Right, so I hope that all of us seek to strive for God in our own ways, and it is a race, right, against ourselves and against everyone else. Let's get God to favor each of us as much as possible. Praise God. Thank you, Brother Peter. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing is that since you raised that point, we really need to work on patience as submitters, right? A lot of times, a lot of submitters come in here, they don't see productivity. They just don't see it, right? They're like, oh, you guys are just arguing, you're just bickering, there's no use, it's a waste of time. It's not true, right? It's just not true. I can see that many submitters, many people, you need to be patient with them, and I saw it, for example, with Sister Nuha. It took her a month. And if you came, many people contacted me during that month and said, oh, and said, oh, why are we wasting our time with this girl? Why are we talking to her? She's not interested. And I said, no, everyone learns differently. We need to be patient. So if people coming and asking questions or discussing or debating, let's have better thoughts. And it's chipping away. This is not a sprint. It's a marathon. If they're coming and asking questions and engaging with us, creating activity, let's embrace that. Let's engage with that. And I just seen too many submitters that just get frustrated. They want the person to submit immediately. And that's not how it works. It's a journey. It can take days, weeks, or months for people. And that ends up producing the best submitters because they are more confident. You rather have someone that has more knowledge in their submission and decision to submit than someone who just accepts but doesn't have any understanding of what's going on. So please help, participate, answer questions, join in, provide arguments, provide support. It's all extremely beneficial. I know AAA, you've been dealing with a lot of this recently. Do you have any comments on this point I just made?
Yeah, I do agree with you, Brother Naveed. Sometimes it doesn't always seem like a person is open to the message. God does tell us that some people, their hearts are sealed, their eyes blinded, their ears deaf. Sometimes we see this as a mercy for us to stop preaching to a specific person. And then there are those who are still willing to listen, right? Even if it's just a little bit, maybe the message will get through to them. So if there are people who still are willing to listen, don't give up. Strive and hope, pray to God that maybe something you say will stick by the will of God. So thank you, Brother Naveed, and whoever else preached to Sister Nuha. And we now have a new sister amongst our ranks. Praise God.
MashaAllah. God, congratulations to all the new submitters and their families, and may God reward all the striving. Yeah, I think it's a great point. And for me, the analogy of like planting a seed is there, that we plant a seed and we don't know when it may come to fruition. And we discussed today in the study that it's God who guides. We read verses and discussed that, and may God help us. And I think it's sometimes more easily said than done, especially when we care about the person, we really want them to embrace submission. At the same time, this is first a reminder for me that when we're giving the message, it's really like we want to do it in a way that's good for our souls, and we get the credit. Like as we are giving the message, we are being reminded. And so, yeah, may God help us to take that opportunity when it's presented and do it in a way that's good for our souls. Thanks.
Yeah.
Praise God.
Peace.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the manner in which we do it is really important because always God says, remind with the best possible manner. You know, if you debate, do it in the best possible manner. And I think the reason being is that once the matter gets out of that best possible way, or what we call peaceful, amicable way, then it's no longer, then it inadvertently switches from being something that we spread the message for God. It becomes a personal, perhaps ego fulfilling kind of endeavor, or sort of a defeating to the purpose of, you know, setting someone on his place. It is good to engage with that kind of mindset that we're doing this to spread the message, and do it in the best possible manner, because the outcome is not in our control. But sometimes we think the way we do it or how we approach it has a say in it, and we know that this is not true. This is the ego talking, thinking that we have a say into this. But if you come into the, you know, guys discussing, arguing, if you do it in the perspective that you have a say into it, you have a way of controlling the outcome, then we have idolized our ego. We have set the ego aside, and then we have idolized it. We have put it, we have given power to ourselves to steer the outcome.
And God bless you, brother. We spent about 500 hours on Sister Nuha. I didn't see you for any of it. I would love for you to come in and show us how it's done, brother. Please come in more often and spend a few hours and show us how to preach properly, if you think we can improve in any way. We have plenty of candidates here every day.
I've been on the line before for a lot longer. You know, some of the discussions, I don't think some of it are very productive, and like, I can't really steer a discussion. I can just only share what I think, and I think people have different preferences of way to spread the message. My personal preference is to put out the information and let people look at it and perhaps engage in conversation with those who like it. But, you know, constantly discussing it, maybe that's, for me personally, doesn't work. I mean, that's not my style of spreading message. Some people think that's effective, and you think it is, and I don't object to it. You know, you choose how you think best fits your way of preaching. But my way, the way I think is effective for me is, or I've been interested in spreading, is to put out materials and then ask people to engage in chat and in messages. And this is what I could, if so far I can commit. I mean, if someday I can commit more into, you know, spending more times online with discussions, I would. But I think those discussions has to have some sort of format and stuff that it doesn't get out of hand. That's my experience being on Discord. No, I haven't been on Discord recently because mostly this is not how I don't like this way of discussing. I don't think it's done in the best possible manner. And I think it does get personal a lot. And I was a victim of it as well. So I felt like this is not good for my soul. I prefer, you know, if someone wants to have a discussion, we will have a discussion about it. If someone, but, you know, the style that is done is not my favorite. And I personally don't think it's the best possible manner in most cases. There are cases that are, I'm not saying all cases, but most of the times that, you know, you get some people that come in line, and I don't know, like it gets just a little bit out of hand and too much personal and too much aggressive, to my taking and liking. And I
God
think
bless
that's
you,
not
brother.
limited.
I think,
Yeah, go ahead.
God bless you, brother. Look, I think obviously we do have to be wary of you know, our ego while doing these talks, but you know, this is the important thing is, look, when we're inviting people to God's path, we do have to do it with wisdom and kind enlightenment. But when we're debating people, we do have to do it in the best possible manner. And I think a lot of people get the wording confused. It's not the kindest possible manner, but it is the best possible manner, which generally just means what's efficient. And again, respectfully, brother, I'll be honest. I don't see you online apart from on during the Quran study. And if you have been if you have been on the receiving end of of a debate and it didn't go well, please don't take that as a personal thing, because again, it may be ego, but no one is here trying to attack any one specific person. We generally, what happens is it's the idea, because some ideas are rooted in without even noticing it. Some of the ideas or the arguments or the ideas, the ideologies that we're holding may be rooted in some form of ego, some form of wickedness, some sort of satanic concept might be behind it, and it requires having to have that idea broken down. So the best possible manner would be whatever works, whatever is efficient. It doesn't have to necessarily mean the kindest possible manner. And yes, there are times when it's being kind. There are times when it's it calls for being a bit more stern. Times when it calls for just having to be patient rather than just trying to have a quick debate. And really, there are brothers here, myself included, who we're here 10, 11 hours a day minimum, and every day we're trying to invite people, debate people, discuss with people. We're engaging in the verses of the Quran. We're actually bringing them to life. We're able to display. And I think if you did come more often, you may see the kinder side of it too, because I think that again, God is running everything. You may have just been, you may have been on the end of seeing the more harsh or sterner side, but it's just like it's starting to become a common thing that I've noticed just being here for the last 3-4 months, that the people who are here the least are the ones who have the most criticism regarding the way we conduct certain debates and discussions. I encourage everyone, please. I was going to say this earlier too, when once maybe the study was over, I encourage everyone to at least pop in here once, maybe just an hour a day. Everyone that's here, just pop in, listen to the debates, listen to the discussions. It's not always bashing events. No, I understand, brother. I understand. I've like I said, I don't see you on that much. I'll be
often anymore, or you're here.
With all due respect, brother, I mean, with all due respect, I have not seen you produce content. You don't help us with our research. You don't help us spread the message. You don't help us bring new people. You're not doing any of that. You're just complaining right now, and we're putting all our time and dedication to preach and research and do analysis. I don't see you talking about the UIN. I don't see you talking about, all these topics that Peter's putting in the Quran talks, all these new articles, all this new analysis, research, helping, supporting. You're not doing any of this. The only contribution is you're criticizing of us.
If I could say something.
You can take whatever you like to take, Navijan, but God knows the truth. And
if I'm wrong, tell me.
I don't like to brag about anything. Honestly, you're the one who's striving, but you don't present the best example, unfortunately.
Yep. Brother Peter, please go ahead. Brother Peter, go ahead. Make your comment.
Chime in. Yeah. Look, I mean, even for whatever effort you put in, God bless you. It's always appreciated. I think if again, if there's something that we could do better, by all means, I think the best way is to lead by example, right? We have multiple VCs. We can always set up new ones. But if you think the conduct that it's currently being operated could be improved, by all means, jump in one of the other VCs and lead by example. Because at the end of the day, it's a refinement process, right? I feel like each day we're just trying to get better and better to figure out, okay, what is the ideal approach. One thing I would say though, praise God, we have to ask, why is it that just this last week we had so many people, in essence, embrace submission like wholeheartedly? What is it that's different? One thing I would attribute is the fact that, I think in the past too, there was this kind of internal, they would talk to one person, they would get one flavor of submission, they'd talk to someone else, they get a different flavor of submission. And for, just because of the series of events, this last week, we've had so many people convert because there isn't that confusion anymore. And, when we consult with people in the past, like, hey, what was the hiccups, the holdups and stuff like that, they would attribute it to that. They'd say, look, I talked to one person. They would say, I have one interpretation regarding, and I'm not talking about like something subtle. I'm saying, something more foundational. And they would talk to someone else and they'd get a different interpretation. and it just created a lot of confusion in their part. So I do think this aspect of just being upfront, God willing, doing it in the best possible manner. This is what we believe. This is why we believe it, and just being unified on that front does make it easier for people to understand, our positions and our arguments.
God bless you.
Mashallah, there's brother. I mean, I was going to make a comment, but did you have a chance to speak? I think you were trying to speak earlier, and then I can go after you.
I think I don't want to make this about me. I think Naveed did actually. I don't know if he has any intention on that. Made it about me. You could take criticism or take an advice and take it and say, yeah, I appreciate it. Okay, great, thank you. We'll improve. Or you can take it personal, so you get an agenda out of it. I mean, Naveed, I think that's really cheap shot from you. I really respected you. Unfortunately, what you did was just very cheap shot.
Brother, I mean, I think the problem is that every week, I think I've been here every week, and every single week I've heard you make the same comment. I think that's the issue. You're making a lot of comments
Every week?
without actually meaning
I'm
it.
not here every week.
Yeah, last week I heard you make the same comment. The week before, I may have heard you make the same comment.
Brother, that's just untrue. I'm not here making every week the same comment.
No, okay. Sorry if I meant. Maybe I should use my words a little bit better.
And
But the
haven't been
last
here
few weeks, of the Quran
Not
study,
here.
consistently you've made the same comment.
Sorry?
Like the last few weeks that I have been here, you have consistently made this comment at least once.
Which comment?
This comment about the way that yeah, I think there's some bad feedback.
I think we got a police radio. Someone's talking through a police radio of some sort. Play your audios.
I don't think it's mine.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It was coming through, but I mean, this mic, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Look, brother, I mean, please, we're not taking anything you're saying personally. It's just please understand that you're not the only one who makes this comment while also not showing up to do. And again, rather than, please, like, don't think that we are taking this personally. Like, brother dude made a very, very good comment in regards to this.
There's a
Let's
verse in
talk
the
about the comment I
Quran.
made last week. Let's talk about the comment I made last week. Let's not change the subject. The comment I made last week is about Hassan. When I chatted with Naveed personally about cybersecurity attacks and something of that sort, that he said he would be booted off the server because he mentioned in another Quran study, which the group Reza were part of. They were invited by Naveed here to run the Persian Quran study here. And then I asked Reza on the other group, so what happened that you guys left? He said Naveed and others came and disturbed the study, and using these buttons like kafir or clap constantly disturbing him. So he was like, no, I'm not staying here because this was, and Naveed was saying, oh, he didn't want it to be challenged. And this, we're talking about submitters. We're not talking about inviting other people. We're talking about how submitters treat each other. And Hassan said, oh, he was told that he needs to leave the server, another server, because there's a cybersecurity threat for him.
No.
So this is exactly what I'm talking.
Naveed, let me handle this. Godwin. Okay, you're conflating different things. So one regarding Reza. Right?
This is the subject that happened last week.
So let me address this. Right. Regarding Reza, I don't know anything. The soundboard comments. If anyone's doing that, that's immature. The aspect is
how do you even have that? Why do you even have that? Because
I mean, let me finish.
The rule of the server that you cannot takfir people, right?
Yeah, brother, listen. Okay.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, so look, regarding the soundboard, one thing that we've done in the is that we limit the soundboard use. But nevertheless, like, look, if someone's misusing it, that's on them. Okay. But the issue that happened with Reza was the fact that he was used to this very kind of like Persian style of tafsir, where he gives his tafsir and everyone just basically mutes and listens. And that's not basically how it's done here, right? Because then he ends up becoming a representative of, hey, this is what submission is.
But that was the format that he had.
I mean, let me finish.
Yeah, okay.
So
I want just add this point. That's why.
Let me finish the point, then you can address it. Then we can talk about Hassan. Okay. So he wanted to have basically this kind of like imam status where he's giving his tafsir, and in essence, it doesn't take any objections to his viewpoints. For us, it's like, okay, this is not what we signed up for. Right? If someone wants to lead a Quran study means that every party can basically say, okay, this is how I see it, or push back. And that's just fundamentally different, in the sense we're not here to have this hierarchy where someone is basically dictating to the masses.
But
Go
even
ahead.
then, Peter, he said, we said, look, if you want to do that format, we can move it to a stage format. But he said, no, I want there to be, 1 second, I mean, he said, no, I want there to be comments. Then when a couple brothers commented, he got uncomfortable and he got upset because they asked him a question about something he had said. Regarding the soundboard, I never used the soundboard. Everyone knows that I'm against using soundboard, especially during Quran study. And that specific one about kafir or whatever, that was not put my B, and I'm actually the one that had it removed because I didn't approve it. Someone uploaded it without, consulting the other administrators. That was removed. So this has nothing to do with me. I never authorized that. I was never involved with that. And anyone who knows me and sees me on here, I don't use the soundboards during serious discussions, anything like that. I never do that. So this is just a flimsy excuse. Reza himself, no, but this is what I mean. This is the bigger point I'm making. Brother, you're coming in. Last week, I called you several days. I said, let's talk. Let's get on the phone. Even on the VC, I stayed here for 5 hours, waited for you to talk to you. You didn't engage. This is what I mean. So you have half information. You don't have the full information about Reza, about Hassan, about any of the stuff. And the same thing here regarding your criticism of our giving the message. You don't have the full picture, and then you give a inaccurate criticism. Regarding Reza, I tried calling you several times.
Can we stay on the subject of Reza? I wanted to just address
go ahead.
Peter.
Go ahead.
So the style that we're talking about is no new style. Even at the time of the Messenger of Covenant, this was an existing style where one would prepare and do a study, and that person would be the main talker about that study. And even around the world, everybody knows the style of Quran study. That one person is the person who's going to be the lecturer of that. It's not, he's the one all the time, but that's nonetheless, it doesn't mean that anybody can't talk. After he finishes his talk, everybody gets a chance to raise their hand and put their comments in. And that's how we do it in the group. And that's how it was done.
And that's what happened.
When he came here, that was the
We
same
agree.
style.
We accepted that, and that's what happened. And then when he opened it up to questions, he didn't like people's questions, and he started condemning people. He said, now you're asking me a question, you're arguing, this is division, blah, blah, blah. He just started making false accusations. And then he just rage quit. We were okay with his style, but he started saying things that were just wrong, like in terms of behavior.
He wants to be the only one. Like, it's one thing if we're rotating and people take turns. Okay, hey, today so-and-so is going to do the lecture. We'll listen to them for, the 15, 20, 30 minutes, and then, we'll have an open discussion. This is not the format, right? This was him basically, and I guess this is how it's done, where it's one person, right, who's supposedly knowledgeable, who repeatedly, in essence, is just giving tafsir. And when, again, it came to the open discussion, the guy got very upset because, in essence, people were pushing back on his ideas. He wants to basically imitate this concept of like taqlid, where you just blindly follow. It's like, sorry, this is an open discussion. And to Navid's point, we said, look, you can set up a stage if you want, right? So in this way, it's like it's understood that this is one person, giving a talk. You don't want that, right? So it's like, I think the whole lens of kind of how you're viewing this is just fundamentally wrong. Like, if you want to have that, kind of mullah style, it's just, not gonna. It just goes completely against the whole foundation of submission, in my opinion.
So you're saying he was upset because he was people gave him a different opinion?
Yes. People were questioning his point of view. Because, brother, we have really good students here that are familiar with the various concepts.
The what's happening in the Middle East, or was it related?
No, it had nothing to do with. No, this was before even October 7th. Yeah, it had nothing to do with Middle East. He was giving tafsir of verses. People were questioning his tafsir, and then he got mad because there were heavy hitting questions. And by the way, this was during the open discussion where everyone had patiently waited until he allowed people to make questions. He didn't like the questions. He didn't like his views to be challenged. And that's it. And I'm familiar with many Quran studies. You're not allowed to have a back and forth or dialogue or questioning anybody else. All you can do in other Quran studies, and many of them at least, is that somebody shares their views, you're allowed to share your views, and that's it. You just talk past each other. That's the format in many Quran studies. So if someone's challenging him directly and saying, hey, can you please explain how you got this conclusion on this verse? It made him uncomfortable. He got upset. He got angry, and then he left. Nobody disrespected him. I didn't support anybody using soundboards or any kind of attacks or any kind of mockery. People know I get very serious during the Quran studies. I don't tolerate that. You've been coming here for over a year and a half. We have over 2 years of Quran studies recorded. Not once do I do this kind of thing. All right, so that's just not accurate of what happened. And he was not comfortable. He doesn't like his views challenged. He says, no, I said this way, you cannot challenge me. You know, and that's what his Quran study is different people with different ideologies. They just state their views and they just leave it. Nobody addresses anyone's points. And a lot of people enjoy that kind of format, and that's not a format that's conducive to development and learning. Here we do it differently, and a lot of people like it here because we can have a back and forth. We can have an exchange of ideas. We can challenge other people's views, and God willing, get a better one.
No, I think the difference is that you're not pushing your opinion upon someone else, and someone else is not pushing it on you. That's the difference. Is much more peaceful in that perspective. And some people do prefer that because they are not.
And it doesn't get anywhere. That's why it's the same 10 people after 15 years.
Right, look, can we get Brother Amin talk so we can see like what he's saying?
You are getting an opportunity to provide your opposing views, but yes, you're not getting into the argumentative kind of thing because then people are free to look at and see which argument is stronger and take that one. This one that you are, I mean, this has been actually practiced also with outside submitters and within submitters, is that you sort of hound on people, sort of get into the bottom of a point, which is good maybe in some perspectives, that some people get defensive and the whole thing becomes very agitated. So there is a possibility that people's ego gets involved in it, and the outcome is that we got so many, non-so peaceful discussion, even within submitters. So that's why many submitters and many communities share their views. They don't get into the back and forth. The back and forth thing is not a thing with them. And I understand it because this back and forth thing repeatedly lead to bickering and argument, and people left or people divided. So this bickering was thought not to be productive because people's views have been shared. Nobody's trying to win their opinion. They're just sharing. They don't have this sort of thing, oh, I'm going to win this argument kind of lawyerish attitude because I got to win it. So people just share their opinions and people are open to what they're understanding. Yeah, I actually most of the time prefer that kind of style opposed to the ones that, unless you're having a set out discussion, say, okay, we're going to discuss this item. This is the premise and this is the conclusion. And this is how we're going to get to the conclusion without being bickering and arguing and without fighting.
And that's exactly my point. You see it as bickering and arguing. We say that as a successful development.
Sorry,
Brother, with all due respect, this is exactly my point.
Use that word,
you don't
man.
see, huh?
Don't use this with all due respect. It's so fake. Just continue saying what you're gonna.
Yeah, I'm just saying you don't see value here.
If you have respect, you'll show it in your behavior. You don't have to say with respect.
One
Go
second,
on.
guys, 1 second,
Okay,
please, 1
so
second.
can I just say this?
Just say what
Brother, listen. The approach you've advocated for just now has been tried for over 30 years. Right? If you want to have a hangout group, social gathering of submitters, that will work for that, and you can have that. But if you want to have growth, development, and expansion, that doesn't do it. It doesn't work. Right? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I understand you're comfortable in that. The verse I wanted to give is 2:16, right? Let's put this in the chat. I put it in the chat. Chapter 2, verse 216. The believers are ultimate victors. Fighting may be imposed on you even though you dislike it. But you may dislike something which is good for you, and you may like something which is bad for you. God knows what you do not know. You're right. You're like, look, this is pleasant. People are happy. We're having a great time. Everybody's holding hands. You consider it bickering. Guess what? Yeah, you can have that, and you can have lack of growth. And you can have the same 10 people for 15 years. Right? If you want to have growth, development, expansion, you need to expand the horizons. You need to get into topics that are touchy. You need to get into issues that are controversial. Address people's concerns. Let people ask their questions the way they want to ask them. You guys want to control the narrative and have a kind of like this secluded, safe zone environment. Yeah, and you're going to see the result of that. Now we're over here by God's leave, God's grace. God is doing everything. We get 60, 70, 80 people. We get conversions every week because we reject your style. because we see your style as a failure. And you're bragging about a style that's failed over and over again to maintain what? So you can have your Skype study with 8 people on it? The same 8 people for the last 10 years? Come on, brother. Like, wake up. We're giving you alternative. We're putting in all the work, all the opportunity, and you're insisting on a broken methodology. Why? And then you're just criticizing us. Why? It's not bickering. We're learning a lot. We're actually learning so much. I learned more in the last 2 years about submission than I did in the previous 20 years. Why?
I think the learning is not, as long as you learn, you can know all the knowledge, but God will send you
It's not just
Yeah.
not just the knowledge, it's the wisdom, it's
can we let-
experience.
Can we let
Right?
Brother Amin and others also express their comments so we can?
Yeah, mashallah. I think
Yeah, go ahead.
you understand that Navi is saying that fails or this is successful because we got so many new converts.
Hear
Lost your
you.
voice. Can't hear you.
Can't hear you anymore.
Brother,
Amin.
I'm not sure how you want to measure success. I guess any metric I use is going to be wrong to you. So I don't know what to say to you, right? What metric do you want to use? Any metric I'm gonna give you, you're going to tell me it's the wrong metric to use. So what can I say?
You're using the war in the wrong metrics too, because war is actually war in that context. So let's not bring
brother,
actual
it's the
fighting.
bigger lesson.
Can we let Brother Amin make his comment and so we can hear the different perspectives
What I
and
know,
points that
I
are being
mean,
presented?
Again, I think things are taken out of context all the time, and the principle is wrong. The most wrong principle, the end justifies the means. This happens within submission, and as certain individuals use it because there's an end is to get a result, and whatever means is possible get there is fine. But this is wrong from principle. From is the means that's the most important. How you do things is the most important. It's not what you get out of it is the important. The result is with God, right? If you believe that. So how we get there is important. If we get there with being respectful and being kind and being considering others and our differences, then the result will be a successful result within that.
And do you know the feedback we're getting just yesterday and other days? Do you know the feedback we're getting? The people that come on the server from other servers, they say this is the kindest, nicest, most peaceful server we've ever been on. They say, thank you so much for being respectful. I was on all these other servers. This is the best server on Discord. This is the feedback we're getting from non-submitters. People that are coming here every day.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Compared to a lot of other Sunni and other servers, this is the best server. I think what we're lacking is among our submitters. Once we become submitters, we become really hostile toward each other. And that's the problem that we have. And we think that we have to push our opinion to the point of convincing the other side to agree with everything that we think and the way we see it. And this is the fundamental flaw. And it comes from the point of ego. Because we think we understand everything perfectly. We have to convince everybody to understand the same way, exactly the same way how we understand it. We cannot let people be and get to their own point. And even in discussions, we have to push back so hard so they all agree on it. So we can share our view. The point is to sharing and let people come to their own understanding, whatever God wills, at their own time. And we can present our arguments too, but we don't have to be so pushy. The problem is that the pushing part is not helping within submitters community. Maybe we're successful among the other Shia, Sunni, or whatever servers. But within ourselves, sometimes we lack, and I think that's the part that we can improve.
No, this is probably the most successful
Brother,
submission server.
let's let Brother Amin finish, please.
Sister
Please.
Fari, he's made his comments. He's made his comments. Okay, you don't have to moderate for him. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about Shia or Sunni, even the Quranist ones, any of them, Christian, Quranist, atheist, any of them. Brother, I just don't think you appreciate what you have, and you're going to lose it, right? You're being unappreciative right now, extremely, and you're just criticizing without basis. This is not righteous. Go ahead, Peter. Sorry.
Look at this. Like we had this, 30 years we've had submission, right? What have we done with it? God bless, Brother Amin for his suggestion. We can always be more kind. We can always be more, forgiving, deliver in a better way. But I think this concept of not challenging people on their positions, it's like, I don't agree with that. If someone's open to it, right? If someone says, hey, look, I don't want to talk about it, they want space, by all means. If someone comes in here and they start arguing and debating and bad mouthing and stuff like that, and we're gonna say, oh, you know what, I'm not gonna address their points. I think we're doing us and the mission as a whole a disservice. Like, no, we have to basically debate in the best possible manner. You know, the other approach is we don't debate at all, right? And it's like we've seen where that gets us. 30 years, it's like look at all the communities, right? No one even knows they exist. Right. And if people want to have this kind of like isolated server where it's just a handful of people to get together and practice the religion, by all means, but that's not spreading the message. It hasn't worked. We have 30 years of history to basically back this up.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't
I wanted
understand
to-
why we're insisting on a broken, failed method. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And
So
I
I
just
wa-
want to know, what is your metric of success? That's really what's important to me. If you have a metric of success, they can accept and they present to me and say, this is how I measure success. Show me. And we can measure however you think is appropriate, please. You know, because every metric that I bring up, you dismiss. You got new converts, yes, so what? You got bigger Quran studies, yes, so what? You're reaching more people, yes, so what? Right? We reach 4 million people on Twitter spreading about submission message. You just dismiss it. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm sorry. To me, this is just inspiration of the devil, because we're reaching millions of people and all I hear you do is complaining about why you're not nice enough. You're missing the bigger picture for whatever reason. You know, that's just what it is. That's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Because now we have to waste resources and energy arguing with the submitter about why we're striving. To me, it just makes no sense.
Did I say why you're striving?
No, why we're striving the way we're striving. Yeah, you don't like it. You don't like it. You're going out of your way to make sure you don't join us. You don't help us. You said, I made a decision to not join on Discord, to not help you guys strive the way you're doing. You said, I don't approve of it. That's what you
There's a
said.
lot of Come on, it's just not for me. I mean, come on. What do you mean? Want me to fake?
No, you said this. You
Okay,
said I made a
let's-
conscious
let's-
decision.
let's let Brother Emin clarify.
You said I made a conscious decision to not join you guys on VC or whatever when you guys are striving. That's what you said. What kind of impact do you think that has on people that hear that?
You're cutting out a little bit.
Yeah, what kind of impact do you think that has on people that hear that? You're discouraging people from striving with us.
Put me on the spot, Navi-chan. You put me on a spot. I didn't put you on a spot. You put me on the spot, and your friend also put me on a spot with the other.
You were the
So
first to
you
make
guys
you were
basically-
the first to make the comment. One second, please. No, 1 second. You were the first to make the comment.
Someone
You were the
moderate. I
first.
think
Sister
it's-
Fari,
I
one
think-
second. Sister Fari, please. Sister Fari, please. 1 second. I mean, brother. No one made no comment about nothing regarding you. You were the only one who said that this server sometimes does things like this and like that, and you don't like that, and that's not the right way to go about it. So when you make comments like this about the server, you're making comments like this about me, about my
Are you
brothers
the
and my
server
sisters here.
or the representative of
When
the
you
server?
make these
Member
comments
of the
about
server.
yes, I am. When you make comments about
Okay,
this,
you
when you
think
make comments
server
about
is your
yes,
house
yes,
or
I mean,
something?
I am, brother. When you make comments about this server, you make comments about me, my brothers, my sisters here, who are here hours and hours, day after day, trying to strive, trying to spread the message. And yes, we are human. Yes, correct, brother. You are right. Sometimes we can be kinder. We are only human. We can't be this perfect, this perfect Quran study that you guys do within an hour.
I just don't get it, brother. With all due respect, you don't like me saying that, but I'm saying it anyway. Listen, Sister Taratai is here 4 hours a day doing recitation and Quran study on VC4. What are you doing? You don't like our Quran study? You don't like how I preach? Go to VC3, invite your own people, do it your own way. But you won't
Can we
do
let
that. You
Brother
only
Emin
criticize.
Answer now. We're
Right?
just. Can we let Brother respond?
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
I think they should get it out of the system. Go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, I would just say this. Like, look,
it out of your
this is exactly the verse we read. They strive without any fear of blame. Sister Taratai, God bless her. She comes 4 hours every day to VC4 and recites the Quran. And talks to new people and preaches the message and delivers the message, and no criticism, no complaints. She just shows up to strive in the cause of God. She says, how can I do more? And we don't invade her space. We don't attack her. We don't argue with her. She strives. She wants to strive that way. God bless her. We support her 100%. But rather than coming in and say, hey guys, give me a channel, I'm going to strive the way I think is better. Give me VC3 like Elham did. Elham said, give me VC3. I'm going to run it the way I think is better. Moderation, blah, 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 this and that. Okay, do it. Go ahead. Let's see how you do it. But you're not doing that. Your only contribution here is just criticism. And I'm asking you, you don't like our success, you don't like the way we're running things. Okay, what is your metric of success? Share it with us, right? Because
That's
Peter's
a
right.
mischaracterization. That's a mischaracterization.
What are you suggesting? What
So
do you
let's
want us
let
to do?
okay, let's let him
What,
respond.
brother, what are you suggesting? What do you want us to do? To be nicer? Okay, we'll be nicer. But when the Sunni cyber terrorists come here and they're screaming at you, calling you a kafir, threatening your family, I don't think you would act this way. When they show the photos of your children being murdered, I don't think you would act this way. You're speaking from a very isolated position and a limited scope of view, right? And it's easy to criticize.
I believe Brother Raju wants to speak. Brother
Sorry,
Raju,
Brother
do you have
Raju.
something to
Brother
say?
Raju, go ahead.
Everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, brother.
Yeah, peace
So,
be upon you.
inshallah, I want to share my understanding. First of all, brother, I mean, we, like my own brother, our own family members, when there's someone has shortcoming, I believe, it's my duty to say, and I believe he has a problem. Inshallah, we have to pray for him. I met him a few times, and there was a point which was directly against teachings of the messenger. And I don't want to, again, argue or bring it up here, but inshallah, we have to pray for him. And I request him, or as a brother's submission, to revisit his thoughts and beliefs in terms of submission, to just go through them again and pray to Allah to guide us through the right path, because some of them were major. So this
Can
is
you
what I was
elaborate
going to
I'm
comment.
not sure what you're talking about.
We met together. We discussed a few points, right? When you were in
This is,
Dubai,
brothers and sisters, this is a Quran study. I think it's much more productive
right?
for us to talk
The
about
one,
the
the
concepts,
Quran
things
is
that are going to grow our souls.
over, but that's
This is
fine. Yeah, she's right though, brother
this is
Raju.
not
Just
this is not
yeah,
this
without
should not
making
be a
it.
personal battle.
Yeah,
Can I just
All right,
I've been
nothing
listening.
personal.
Yeah.
Nothing personal.
Can I just make a comment that I think our brother was giving a reminder. Quran says, the reminder will benefit, the believer will take heed, the wicked will avoid it. He was giving a reminder. Now we can take that and say, thank you, brother, for the reminder. We can reflect, examine ourselves. If it's valid, we take heed, we benefit. If it's not valid, we let it go. It doesn't matter. It's between us and God ultimately.
Yeah, what they're
But then
saying,
to turn
can
it
you
into a
comment on this?
turn this into a personal battle and then, bring up
No,
personal
nothing
stuff
personal.
for
This
everybody
is
to
the
hear.
problem with
That's not
chat,
what happened. That's not what happened.
Excuse
Listen,
me.
please, respectfully. Sorry, brother Raju. I do apologize, brother Amin and Sister Fari. Please look, Sister Fari. I'm getting the feeling that you're only saying this because you agree with brother Amin, but that's exactly what happened. Brother Amin made his comment. We all said
Brother,
thank you for your comment, sister. We
you
all
just
said
had a
thank you for your
suspicion.
comment.
You
We
said
will take heed. Yeah, I know. I understand. We all said thank you for your comment. We will take heed. We appreciate the reminder. But then we also made a comment back, and it seems that he was one that got affected by this personally. So then it became a back and forth. Brother Raju did nothing wrong by just bringing up a reminder as well. So I'm sorry, but I'm seeing
But I
a little
rather,
bit of
and I
contradiction there
appreciate
in
that,
that mindset.
but I rather, brother Raju, not bring up any
It's
personal
okay. No,
shortcomings
it's
of
okay.
Amin in this way. But
Yeah,
I
this
understand.
is not
I
a this
understand.
is
I
not
No,
a,
it
understand.
was nothing personal. The point is, you didn't let me finish the point. There are certain things we might have different understanding, right? But of course, we cannot expect every person to have exactly the same thought. Exactly, it's not practical. We know that. But there are certain things that are major, taught by the message of covenant. Okay, so that if you want another time, we can bring it up. We can discuss. So I wanted to mention that just that sometimes we need to kill our ego and have more listening and not to take anything personal. This is what I was going to say, but you took it opposite. You thought I'm taking it personal. And the other side with Nabi, just want to share my opinion. Of course, I love this server. I'm sharing it with whomever I meet, but it's not only the way to start. This is what I just want to share. It's amazing. This is how it should be. If you look in many communities, when you say something that is different than their understanding, we have all experienced this. Suddenly you will get labeled as a disbeliever or a hypocrite, which is not the way. That's why I love this server. People are open-minded. You can discuss, share your understanding. However, just a reminder that there are many, many ways to scribe. It's not only online or through the server. However, this is a great tool. I'm still using it. And inshallah, we will invite more people to this server, inshallah.
I agree, Brother Raj. God bless you.
Can I say
agree.
something?
Agree.
I don't want to say anything after this.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then I'd like to get in line.
And I think my point was, I think you mischaracterized something, Navid, because see, it goes back to this. The end justifies the means. If the end is to make a point, it's okay to use a mean and mischaracterize something to get to that end. The mischaracterization is when you say you have done nothing for this server. I have attended 2 conferences. The second conferences in my presentation, I mentioned the submission server a couple of times and how I learned from this server. I printed T-shirts with the submission server and I just give it in my own community to people. I've connected you with people that you wanted to talk to about submission center or invited them here. So if those are nothing, then you're right. That you're correct in your
No, brother, I'm talking about right now. I'm not talking about a year ago or 6 months ago or whatever. I'm talking about right now. Your comments right now.
Why do you pick one thing and you just you miss everything else that have happened in the past year and you just pick on something?
Because I'm addressing what you're saying right now, brother.
Well, you said you have done nothing for the server. You didn't say right now.
No. Right. Well, okay, I take that back then. I want to apologize to you and I take that back. Yes, you've done many good things in the past. But I'm saying right now, recently and currently,
So no,
your position is that you don't want to join with us.
No, I said
That's fine.
I've said some of the discussion that whenever I join, some of the times I've joined, some of the discussion was a little bit too much for me. I think at that style, I don't see it personally constructive. I may be wrong, you may be right, but that's not my style. And we all don't have to do it the same way. I said
that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're doing it wrong. I'm saying, to me, my understanding that I don't like it this way. I like it a little bit more peaceful, a little bit calm.
I said,
and you're
and
right. You're saying you're right. Maybe you need to do it differently, then come and do it. And that's a good response as well, right? Mashallah to you. If you want to say that. Right now, I don't have the time to spare and come online separated because of my family. I'm also doing something on the side as well. What I've shared in the Farsi as well, I've shared some of the links of some of the videos we've done. And inshallah, if anyone is interested, can look at it. Those are Persian language videos for the Farsi speaking people. I haven't done anything by taking a channel or whatever. Maybe that's not my strong suit. Okay, I do what I can. I'm not a good talker as some of the guys are really good speaker. I'm more prepared doing something on the computer and getting something ready. So everyone is different, right? And let's not streamline. Rovers don't do it the same way we do. Right.
That's fine, and brother, we support your striving. I have no problem with that. I didn't encourage people to go there.
So
I think, sorry, before Sister Fire, I think Terratai. No, my only thing was, if you're saying recently I made a conscious decision to not support you guys, that's what really what got my attention. Because not everybody needs to be. Can I just say something? Not everyone needs to be even a debater.
Man, what are you talking
God
about?
bless you. Thank you, and I appreciate that. But I just want to say one thing: many sisters are not comfortable debating, but they come and they load the verses to reduce the burden on us. So when we're in the middle of the debate, we want to say a verse, let's say 550 or something, they will load the verse for us. They will help us. So people can help in various means, or other people make content and bring people here. So not everyone has to strive in this exact same way, right? That's all I'm trying to say. But we are supportive of each other, just like I'm supportive of your efforts. But if I just come here and I just criticize everyone, but I don't provide any support or alternative, then I think that's problematic. That was my only point. Like, that's all I'm saying. Yeah, I just, with all due respect, so Sister Fari, I think Sister Taratai has been waiting for a long time to speak. She has not spoken for the last 3 hours.
Okay.
So I just wanted her to have a chance to talk. Sorry, go ahead, Sister. Go ahead, Sister Taratai. You're unmuted if you want to talk. Brother Zaina, is she with you? Does she want to?
Waiting for too long. She may have stepped away.
I'm so sorry. Did I make any sound?
No sound.
Please
no
just
sound.
speak. No, it's fine. No noise. No noise. You can speak. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I just woke up. Please proceed with your. I'm trying to what do you call? Trying to
God bless you.
understand what you are talking about.
God bless you, sister. Go ahead, Sister Fire.
Okay, I'm so sorry I didn't.
It's not- okay, it's all good. Praise God. Peace be upon you, sisters and brothers. Yeah, I just wanted to say that, this is, and mashallah, I liked that Brother Naveed also reinforced this, that, I think for like the sake of our own souls and communities, a wise approach is to, to talk about the verses and things that are good for our souls and not to bring personal stuff into these discussions. Um, and I think that it's much more fruitful that way. And my comments that I've been making, it's not meant to be personal towards anyone. Please, I hope no one takes it personally. I'm just wanting, a reminder at first for myself. May God help me and all of us to be able to do things in a way that's nourishing for our souls, to have soul nourishing and fruitful discussions, and not to bring in personal stuff because that can provoke the ego and then we can get into disputes and divisions and repel others as well. So I think I take it as our brother reminded us, and we have the verses of the Quran as well, like 16:125, that this all goes together. You shall invite to the path of your Lord with wisdom and kind enlightenment, and debate with them in the best possible manner. Your Lord knows best who is strayed from his path, and he knows best who are the guided ones. And so my understanding too is that we want to share this wisdom that God has given us, kindly bring people into the light. If it's a debate, it's not that we don't make our point. Yeah, no, we can make our point, but if we make it calmly and kindly, it's going to be a lot more effective. There's situations where God has mentioned like being harsh and stern, and my understanding of that is that when we need to stand our ground, we stand our ground. If being aggressed, somebody's trying to oppress, then we have a right to believe how we want to believe and practice how we want to believe, practice. And so God is saying, don't revert, don't let people push you away from my path and the truth. So there's times where we may need to be firm and stern in order to stand our ground. And so at the same time, I think we can all just try to take the best. If it's not good, not valid, we just let it go. But we examine, we reflect. Somebody says something, somebody reminds. God says, remind, for the reminder may benefit. So somebody gives a reminder, we can just reflect, examine, could I do something better? Maybe this is something that God wants us to hear. And if not, we just let it go. So at the same time, a lot of striving going on. May God bless, guide, and bless our striving, all of us, in different ways that we're doing it. And yeah, I think that's what I wanted to say right now. Inshallah, I'm going to be heading out, but I wanted to say peace be upon you all. May God bless you all.
Peace be upon you,
Thank you
sister.
for listening. Peace be upon you too.
What was what was the reminder that or comment you made that like, it's leading to this discussion, like what happened came a little bit late into this thing, sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah,
it's a little,
brother.
you're a little muffled. Were you asking what the reminder was?
Yeah, I'm asking Brother Amin, peace be upon you, brother, peace be upon everybody. Like Brother Amin, from what I'm getting from the conversation so far is Brother Amin gave some kind of a reminder, and now we're having this discussion about the reminder or something like this. I'm not too sure what happened.
Yeah, I think brother Amin can repeat what he said, if that's all right with him, or he
Yeah,
may have
brother
stepped
Amin,
away.
are you still there, brother Amin?
Yeah, I don't want to repeat that.
Okay, inshallah, I can just share kind of what I took away. And yeah, maybe it's good to move on. There's a lot of people on here. I think
Well, I mean, if
other
Brother Amin
there's
doesn't want to
more
repeat it,
questions.
I'd rather just hear it from him rather than your take on what his reminder might have been. If you don't mind, you know what I mean. I'm not like I'd rather just hear it from him.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you want to just let
We're
us
spending
hear
an
something,
hour
you
on
know.
this subject, and
Yeah,
I think
I don't want to drag it
I
out.
don't want to
Brother,
I don't want to do a restart call.
that's okay. But I mean, if you're comfortable, again, you don't have to do this. I'm just curious, right? Even if you just want to shoot me a DM with a reminder or what it was,
No,
if you feel
it was
like it,
about
that's not.
it was just a generally said about
like the way we strive, it's got to be in debate in the best possible manner.
Okay,
And,
yeah.
and I think the pushback was that, oh, you're not here striving, so why don't you come here and do it? Something like that.
Okay, wonderful. But I mean, give us a reminder. Whoever took heed, took heed.
Yeah, God bless.
That's it. So I guess we can move on. Okay. Hey, I mean, yeah, God bless you for the striving you do. I see some of the videos you send me and whatnot. God bless you, man. Thank you so much.
Peace.
Yeah, God bless you. Thank you so much. Does anyone else have any questions or comments regarding any topics they want to discuss? We have a lot of people here. Praise God.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad
Oh,
that
yeah.
there.
Actually, since you're here, T-Back, I can make an announcement. There's like 60 people here. I just wanted to let everyone know T-Back has finally decided to become a submitter after struggling for a long time. So praise God. We're really happy to have
Praise
T-Back
God.
as part of the team.
Praise be to God.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
What do you call him?
Congratulations.
What? T-Back?
T-Back, T-B-A-C, T-Back.
Yeah.
He's the best at
Okay.
chess. It stands
Yeah.
for the best at chess. He's an
Yeah.
excellent chess player, and now he's trying to
Oh,
be an
wow.
excellent submitter. So we're
MashaAllah.
happy that he embraced submission. He had a long journey as a young soul or a young man. So we're happy that he's here. And maybe you can share with us what helped you decide to become a submitter. Submitters can just benefit from that.
Well, basically, first I came to Quran Alone from Sunnism because, people like the Warner, they brought me, and the correctional officer, they brought me to Quran Alone first, right? And then after that, I started looking, and then I found like a mathematical code for prayer, like where's the 5 prayers, and then that's where I found it. And then from there, like I found and also I found Quran Talks article about the 19 miracle, and I watched that video, and then soon I started learning about Rashad and the Messenger of the Covenant. Obviously, yeah, it's the same person. And on top of that, I've learned so many things, and then finally I've seen that this miracle. After finally watching McClinton's video, I've decided that this miracle is actually a true miracle. No one's just gonna be able to make up all these numbers. Obviously, it just can't be a coincidence that it's discovered in 1974, with those 2 verses of Surah Muddathir being the geometrical value of 1974. So that's how I came to my conclusion that submission is the real religion. We are united. I've always wondered, how are the Quran Alone people united, and they never were. They were always fighting each other. And then I realized that this is the only correct form. This is the only correct Islam. All the other versions, they're not Islam. They're not submission. And that's what I realized, because we are one community and we worship God alone.
MashaAllah. 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 God bless you. God bless you, Big Dad. MashaAllah. Very,
Thanks.
very good
Praise
young man.
God. Praise God and congratulations, brother.
Congratulations. That's really good news. Fantastic. Yeah, and thank you to everyone for putting so much time and energy helping this young brother with his process to embrace submission. Wow, we had so many submitters in the last week, 6 or 7 or 8 new submitters, and many of even the best submitters, they're not even on here right now. For example, I highly encourage everyone here to meet Sister Rose. What a fantastic sister she is. Amazing submitter and does so much hard work. Also, I think Sister Kathy became a submitter during the last week as well. So I don't know how many submitters we got, but it's fantastic. Great news. And now we just got joined by Sister Suja and Brother Ayub. How are you, sister? God bless you. We're so happy you're with us now. Praise God.
Salam alaikum. I've been, I had some issues actually trying to log in from my account. So I am actually logging in from I'm talking from my husband's account. So I
Yes, but
just got
sister,
to
you
know
don't
about
need, God bless you. You don't need to, I noticed you left the server. You don't need to leave the server if you want to close the app. You can just close the app and exit the call, but you don't need to leave the server every time. That's all I
No,
wanted to say. Go ahead.
there was some problem and I had to come out of the server. It was not
Okay.
getting connected. I mean, there was some issues with the voice and all that. So then I
Okay, go
had to
ahead.
actually uninstall it, and my husband is trying to, reinstall it again. Like I told, I mean, I know we are not very new to submission. It's been 15 years that I'm into submission by the grace of God. I was not a born Muslim. I must convert, and I got into submission through my husband by God's grace. He had got the message even before our marriage, and I was a born Hindu, and it was something that I could never connect until I met my husband and got the message. So ideally, my parents are into idol worshipping, and I could never connect with them. I used to have a lot of questions which my mom could never answer, and I felt, after reading Rashad's, I mean the Quran, I feel I've got I had all my questions answered. So that was one of the main thing for me to get into submission. The concept of one God. And though as a child I used to always come across this thing, but my parents could never give me an answer about one God. And so that was one thing that actually got my attention. And by the grace of God, I then got I met a few submitters in Chennai and a few submitters, mashallah, in Mumbai, wherein we would often do some Quranic studies in Mumbai and in Chennai. And that is how I got a lot of answers. But I always believe that there are a lot of things that I have to know, and I probably I have anything, I just through my prayers I ask God and He answers me. Like I told before, this Quranic study was an answer to my prayer that I had after my Isha namaz. I wanted to connect to more submitters, and I came across this app and this server, and I